Man, what's happening? Yeah, I'm just here, man. Thanksgiving weekend, been a long weekend. Know y'all hadn't seen me in a long time, but I definitely want to shed some light on a few things, man, while I'm out here. Just let everybody know everything that I know, but man, ain't nothing else left to hide. What's up, Jay? How you doing, man? Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Just gonna address a few issues, man, with your former place of residence. Hey, listen, this weekend will be a good weekend if it's possible, man. Maybe we can get down. I can get that to you between now and the week. I know I still haven't done the memo. Let me make myself a note, man. I've been out of town. Jay, been in the hospital. You know what I mean? But I'm shaking back now, man. Good to see you, man. How the family doing? But I just came on, man, just addressing a few issues going on within the department. From states from coast to coast, from the top of Mississippi to the bottom of Mississippi. And the first one I really want to address, I put out that thing with Batman earlier this week, and how the state can continue to let them participate in nepotism. You know what I mean? How can you let your wife make decisions and screen all the people that comes into the prison when there's a conflict of interest, when you work for a nonprofit? You know what I mean? Um, when you work for a nonprofit. So you work for a nonprofit, and then you are working on hey sis, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving. You're working on the MDOC side, where you're screening people and getting NCICs to people who are coming into the prison. I think that's a conflict of interest. Also, you're scheduling meetings. You got business dealing with the clubs, or with the place now, because there are no more clubs. Even though I heard they're bringing the clubs back. And so I put out the memo to show how bold and brazen that Batman think he is, that you can put it out, like I can do what I want with the taxpayers' dollar. And when that's far from the truth. You just hadn't had anybody to hold your feet to the fire. But today I'm the fire starter and the fire. So I'm going to keep them on your feet so you can tiptoe Batman, or get in that Batmobile and ride out and go somewhere, but go back to probation and parole. So I think that you think that you are. What's up, Chas? I'm waiting on the information. This is tea time. I have been waiting, so I couldn't wait any longer because I got so many issues to address. And then another thing that you're doing down there, Batman, you're looking over senior people that are in key positions that have put in the time on the ground with the inmates and come up through the ranks the proper way. Yet you got a 20-something-year-old man that you just got as acting deputy warden at Unit 30, which is Tyler. How you gonna look over? What's his name? Uh, Harvell. That used to be at 29, and Hilson. The relative of the other Hilson that used to be there. How you gonna look over these people and put Tyler in a position that he knows nothing about? He doesn't have enough correctional experience that you can do that. That you can put him in a position. And then I thought it was three homicides to where they start looking at what a superintendent does. You know what I mean? So this is your third one. I know you had the Mississippi or the state coroner or the Sunflower County coroner to rule it as a natural death. How does a 30-something-year-old man die a natural death with his neck broke and after he had been stumped? And you locked up four individuals and sent them to Walnut Grove behind the situation. So how does his death certificate or his cause of death read as natural death? So are they doing it to protect you? Are they doing it to protect the staff, the warden and the deputy warden at 29? Or are they just covering up a homicide that occurred on your watch? You know what I'm saying? So how are they going to keep on covering up something on your watch? So what are they going to tell Derek Harris' family, that he died a natural death? You know what I'm saying? When you had two field ministers performing CPR on him, and when he went to the hospital, the bruises that he had And after staff there at MSP watched the tape, you went in and pulled the guys out, 7-4 and whatever his name was. I get his name in a minute. But anyway, you know who you pull out, Deputy Ward Meeks. Uh, you pull them out, you interview them. Next thing you know, it's four guys riding out to Walnut Grove that you have in Walnut Grove behind Derek Harris' death. So how is it that you're continuing to participate, in cover-ups? Or how do you have your staff that are continually covering up for you in these matters? So I'm just wondering that, man. I heard that the feeding went good. Then you had the guy that hung himself that wasn't assigned to the farm shop, allegedly hung himself when he had bruises on his back, when he had a broken neck, just like the other guy had a broken neck, but he had bruises on his back. And it was on a Saturday when it was raining. So what was he doing at the farm shop? And what staff signed him out? So how can other inmates sign out a guy, take him to the farm shop, a place that he doesn't work on MSP, and the guy end up dead at the farm shop? So, you know what I mean? What was it? Was it a hit? Because nobody leaves on a rainy, cold day to go to the farm shop to hang himself and beat his own self up in the back with all the bruises that he had on his back. According to the hospital report, it's alleged that he had a lot of bruises on his back, and it's alleged that he had a broken neck. So which is it? Did he kill himself, or was it a homicide? Then we had the guy early in the year, which we know was a homicide because he was stabbed to death out there at Unit 30. You know what I mean? So how can you? It's three. 3 is the magic number for a superintendent. So, but now, as long as they're saying that it's how can I say it, natural death, you know what I mean? Then you have no balance, or no scales and balance to where they can hold you accountable. You know what I mean? So you got my people, our people, in your pockets to the point that they're scared to do their own jobs and report the truth. You know what I mean? Because they're so caught up in wanting to protect master. You know what I mean? So, and I speak to you, uh, um, people who look like me that work at Parsons, CMCF, and SMCI. Man, you got to stand up for yourself. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to stand up for yourself and stop being a pastor, stop being a step and fetch, and stop being a puppet. You know what I mean? Against the wrongs and stuff. When you infringe upon people who are incarcerated rights for the sake of protecting your master, I mean your supervisor, then you're just as wrong and you're just as culpable. You know what I mean? So I think that you need to first get that in order, get yourself in order, and stop infringing upon staff members' right and inmates' right as well. Because when you decide to not honor the seniority or fail to consult and speak with them about different things that are going on, then you are still part of the problem. You know what I mean? When you are an instrument against an instrument of oppression to where you are inflicting wrong upon your own people, then I think that you need to look at yourself in the mirror and decide what side you're going to be on. You know what I mean? Are you going to be on the side of right? Or are you going to oppress your own people for the sake of protecting a person that don't give a damn about you? You know, if he'll throw Robin on the bus, then the bus is waiting to run over you too. At any time, the first thing that happens, then you're going to be culpable and responsible. You know what I mean? And so when it happens, don't say I didn't tell you. You know what I mean? While you're out doing other things, the hospital, the hospital is falling to subpar living area. 29, all the buildings are leaking. F building, we know. C building, A building, and L building, practically all of them are leaking and have some type of malfunction that's going on that needs to be fixed. You know what I mean? But yet and still, you care more about what's going on up at the place or, and then Who's responsible? Why hasn't Dodie been held responsible for the things that she did to the lady that works at cold storage? You know what I mean, Miss Glennon, in front of you. You know, when you make the comment, "Wow, that was a pretty good move right there," and then when she lives on grounds, hit the chaplain's vehicle, and then leave the scene of the crime without doing an incident report. So how can you continue to let all of this go on, and yet and still nobody wants to hold you accountable? Mississippi Hot Topics? Where are you? Chad White, where are you? You know what I mean? The same way you, Brad Huffman at SMCI, your wife is the business manager. How can she handle the money and her husband is the supervisor or the superintendent of an institution? How can she even be in the business? And how can you hire your cousin who was once formerly incarcerated? First of all, he was incarcerated there. You should advise the state to send him somewhere else. You should advise the state to send him somewhere else while you were the superintendent there. Yet and still, he goes home, and within a month, you have hired him back. And got a trailer that he's living on state ground using state electricity and state stuff. I have no problem with people who are formerly incarcerated being hired. I think that when their first cousin is the superintendent, then he needs to be hired somewhere else. I think that when their uncle is the superintendent, then they need to be somewhere else. Then they shouldn't have unfettered passes to go in and start no kind of Christian program within these institutions without being screened, without an NCIC check, and without having proper training. So how can you go from one institution to another institution or one jail to another institution because your nephew is the superintendent and you give him carte blanche to go into any institution to teach all the program that you want? So who's holding your feet accountable? Definitely not the commissioner, but does he even know the things that you're doing? You know what I mean? Does he have so much trust in you that he don't know the things that you're doing or the laws that you're violating? I posted the statute, the nepotism statute, and it says immediate family and the things uh, 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 that will be conducive to you violating the law. You fit every criteria that I posted the law. Go back and look at the post, and there'll be more pictures coming out. And then you, Mr. Archie, at CMCL, did you think just because you took a man who had already called one black staff the N word, did you think because you took him out to Harvey's Fish House and fed him, uh, 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 brought him vapes or even the reloads for his vape? You know what I mean? Did you think that he was going to be loyal to you when it came down to his son? You let that man use your state phone to call Mr. Hunt to tell him that if he didn't bring him back to CMCF that day, that he was going to blow up the institution. Now, mind you, knowing him, and I'm not vouching for him, you know what I mean? I don't know. He didn't mean blow up in the sense of like striking a fire or anything. He mean blow up in the sense of everything that he knows about the wrong that you've been doing. You, Mr. Grady, Mario, you, St. Julian, and you and all the other staff that are participating in wrongdoing, Brock, Owen, you know what I mean? You too, you know, so all the wrongdoing he was talking about in that sense, the access or the paperwork that he had access to the point that where he could blow you out the water in that sense. So I think that you being crazy enough to let Sam Jennings use your phone to call the person who is now the deputy commissioner, you deserve to lose your job. You know what I mean? I hate it for this time of year, but there's nothing that you can do, man. That means that if he was comfortable enough, first of all, how was he able to get the password to unlock the state phone? That's the first thing. The second thing was, how did he have access to your phone? You know what I mean? You know, even though they walk you off, I think they still let you resign just to save grace. You know what I mean? But they weren't going to put you above the law when you let somebody who was living not with the other inmates, but in his own First of all, he had his own lavish room by any standards of anybody being incarcerated, at CMCL. Then after it was exposed that he did, after ACA came through and told him to shut it down and move, Brock Owen gave him a room at the firehouse. What, is he too good, or does he know too much that you can't put him in general population? You know what I'm saying? So, or you just showing favors to people. I think that we take for granted the things that. What's up, my brother? I pray that the turkey was good. I pray that the food was good. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, nephew. So I just think that, man, we as citizens or as taxpayers in the state of Mississippi need to know where our tax dollars are going when it comes to MDOC and when it comes to why aren't they, if they had been, if, matter of fact, they didn't give Tim Morris a half a chance. We don't even know why they even let him go. You know what I'm saying? The things that you've done warrants you being in prison. Yet and still, they forced Timothy Morris to resign. The same thing with Miss Stanford. When they forced her to resign, she did way less than some of the things that you have done already. You know what I mean? Like you're even not even want to Batman want to even give Grimes, or you're pulling up on Grimes and talking to him like he's your child. Man, that's a grown man that knows his job and knows how to do his job. The same way, what's his name? Black, Mr. Harvell. The same way that he knows how to do his job. You know what I mean? But yet and still, you want to pick and punish him. You want to use his people, African American women, to tell him what to do when you're not man enough. When we know that you're behind him. You know that the man is caring for his family and he's caring for his I heard that his wife was, a little bit under the weather and receiving doctor's treatment. You know what I mean? But you want to take and put this man on a shift that he doesn't deserve to be on. And yet and still you won't give him the position or the promotion that he deserves. The same way you try to cross out Sally when somebody died on his watch. So two people have died on different people's watches, and nobody has been held responsible. A guy was checked out by another offender, taken to the farm shop, where he allegedly hung himself, but nobody has paid the price for that, knowing that the man wasn't assigned to the farm shop, knowing he didn't work out there. So you just sweeping it under the rug. Haven't seen it on the news. You know what I mean? I go on the website and check BAG news. Haven't seen it anywhere. Haven't seen it in the paper, Sunflower, or the Bible commercial about an inmate dying. The inmates who have died out there at the prison. You know what I mean? And of course, we know anybody that's a former convict knows that there's some foul play in that. You know what I mean? And yet and still, you haven't been held accountable, Batman. So I just want to know, when are you, Chad White, going to hold Mr. Huffman, Mr. Owen, and Batman, aka McClure? When are you going to hold them accountable for the things that they're doing? You know what I mean? Nicole, what's going on, man? Give me some tea, man. Drop some tea on the thing, other than the condition. You know what I mean? So I think that man, it's time. It's time that we do that, man. And I appreciate the guys, man. Even though I don't like what you're doing, you know, was my fourth year feeding Unit 29. So this year, we were able to send 100 turkey, extra dressing and everything, so that all the people at Unit 29 could be fed, all the staff, even some of the staff that I don't agree with and didn't like what they do, what they're doing or what they did. You know what I mean? We still sent food Tuesday. They were fed Tuesday on the 26th. So they had turkey, pies, cookies, and everything, dressing, and we were able to feed the hospital and Unit 29. So regardless, you know what I mean? I still do my part to give back because I understand what it is to have a decent meal at least sometime. You know, so I started that 4 years ago, my first year there, when a guy who had been down 20 years said he hadn't had any real turkey, man, in 20 years. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to do to ensure that the fellows, man, at Unit 29, because I was assigned, I did 29 because I was assigned to 29. I wish I could raise enough to feed the whole institution. That's one of the reasons that I still, try to send bags. But I don't really think I don't even want to do that with you anymore. I don't even want to participate. There's nothing against you guys at 29 or anybody out there. I think until they change the so-called quote unquote head at the top, you know what I mean? I don't want to participate in any more feeding. So I won't be participating next year. So I won't raise any money to get any turkeys. So I'll let Father Murphy know, and that's it. I'll take it on the road. I'd rather go to a county jail, maybe a Bolivar County Jail or Tunica County Jail or somewhere than to participate in then the reward, uh, how can I say it, the staff, or make it seem like the staff. You didn't even have the courtesy to even approve the memos of the people who donated most of the money. You know, the the Poor People's Campaign and the People's Advocacy Institute, the people who gave me the money, who bought the turkeys and bought the pies and things that we sent down there, and the dressing. Somehow, quote unquote, Miss McClure, who is not supposed to be working at under your uh, under your or as part of your administration anyway, because she worked for MadCorp, then processed the paperwork. So they had a problem. The people drove all the way from Jackson. One lady that donated money came all the way from Atlanta and wasn't allowed to get in the institution because and I know you got it in time. I know you got the paperwork in time. You know what I mean? Because the email receipt says received by your office. Yeah, it was said to email it to her, Catwoman. I mean, I'm sorry, Leanne, Miss McClure. So, because they're same people who came in the last 3 years, they didn't come in the first year, but the last 3 years they came in and helped serve, and they raised money. They get out and hit the ground every year and raise money to be able to send turkeys. And thanks to the sweet spots for cooking them and preparing everything, people who spend days preparing food to get it ready to bring down there, Father Murphy coming to Jackson to pick it up and bring the food so it can be served. The people who raised the money and donated the money couldn't get in because you didn't process the paperwork or you dropped the ball. Y'all say you dropped the ball. You know what I mean? But I know for a fact you did it simply because I'm telling you about yourself. And you got my phone number. When your stepping fetchers come back and show you this video and replay it for you, when your stepping fetchers come back and show you this video, you still got my number. You can call me. You know what I mean? If you're not man enough to call me, man, then don't punish other people. Who are helping me that I contact to raise money for the feeding. Don't punish them. Let them people come in and serve, man, and get the credit that they're due. That's how other people get to begin or get to donate money. And uh, it's alleged and said that that your team, your so-called team, is the reason that all the contraband is coming in. There, yeah, your special detail team, the same way after my last video that I came out and spoke about them having pocket knives, you went and took them up the same day, not the next day, the same evening. You called all of them together and you took their pocket knives up. So to me, that lets me know that you was in error for even letting them have them, and you put people's lives in danger the whole time that they have them. Did you stop them from hunting coyotes and wild hogs on parchment ground, or do you think that we don't know about that? The same way that you want them to sign a non-disclosure for speaking with me, you know what I mean? Is the same people that are not afraid of you and want the truth to be told. You know what I mean? You won't even speak to them. You'll speak to a white inmate before you speak to a black staff. And I think that that's utterly ridiculous. You know what I mean? In every sense of the word, in every way. But enough about you, man. I just pray everybody had blessed holiday. I think that in this life, man, we take so many things for granted, and I think that people like Batman and Huffman and Brock Owen think that they're above the law and think that they're supposed to be, that they have that what we call white privilege when it comes to them doing their job. You know what I mean? They can do it any way they want to, and they don't have anybody to answer to. But so far, it's been like that because you're getting away with, literally, you're getting away with murder. You know what I mean? When a man gets killed on your watch, when men, not a man, when men get killed on your watch, and you're not being held responsible by the ACA, by the Department of Justice, you know what I mean, or by the Mississippi legislature, you know what I mean? It's time for a change, or by the so-called quote-unquote deputy commissioners, you know, who are supposed to be reporting everything to the public about what's going on. You told the man who got killed out at the farm shop the same thing, that he died a natural death. You know what I mean? You didn't tell them that he allegedly committed suicide with his neck broke and bruises on his back. You didn't tell his family that. You know what I mean? His family has been trying to get answers. And what have you told? Nobody has even reached out to Harris's family, to Derek Harris's family yet. You know what I mean? And I would hate to be the one to call them and tell them, look, your son was murdered at Unit 29, but they're saying that it was natural death, that this 30-some-year-old died of natural death. You know what I mean? Yet and still, they got 4 people locked up at Walnut Grove the same day, the Tuesday. They got shipped out the Tuesday that it happened. So you go figure. You know what I mean? Man, if you got something, get it to me. I just wanted to come through and touch base, man. I've been out and about and rolling around here in Mississippi, man, and went to see my kids up in Indiana. I really had a great time, man. It's been a joyous holiday, man. So welcome to December. You know, December is going to be a lot of tea time. When I say a lot, man, it's going to be a lot. There'll be more posts. There'll be more posts like the last one that I posted. You know what I mean? I'm not sure, but when you get it, man, when you see a post, man, like it and share it. You know, that's the only way that we can get the word out. That's the only way that we can fight the corruption. That's the only way that we can fight the racism. That's the only way that we can fight the inhumane treatment. How would you feel if your loved one was incarcerated at Parchment or SMCI or CMCL and they were getting treated and they had their room infested with roaches? If they were getting some of the foods for breakfast and lunch and dinner that there's not enough to feed them for the whole day, how would you feel if your loved one was getting treated like that? So my response to that is like and share the video. I don't care. I'm not looking for money. I just want the truth to be out. You know what I mean? Man, share it so the truth can get out, man. People call me all the time about their loved one, what they're going through, how they're treating them in East Mississippi. You know, East Mississippi is changing, though. I can really say that the new warden that came from Texas, Ms. Johnson, I think she's doing a tremendous job of caring for the guys and seeing how it's bad that we have to bring people from out of state with an open mind for change to put them in a position to change our prison system. Because these people who were raised under this good old boy system, this Jim Crow style system here in Mississippi, continue to think that they can treat us like we're in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You know what I mean? With this back of the bus mentality. But when people come from out of state and in a state that thinks about change, like Tennessee or Texas and other places that thinks about change, not Alabama or Georgia, don't bring nobody from their prison because they got that same good old boy mentality, thinking that we're not supposed to have anything. Our loved ones who are incarcerated are not supposed to have anything. And like I tell you, I fight so hard for them simply because I'm formerly incarcerated. So I walked in their shoes, and I know what it means to have one bad officer. You know what I mean? Or one racist officer who can make your time hard or anything like that. And I'm not saying that all white officers are racist. There's some really People like Miss Morris or Miss Terry out there at the warehouse. You know what I mean? There's some people who really care about how our people do their time and really want to help them and are really concerned with rehabilitating. You know what I mean? So I think that we as a people, man, need to start looking at how they're housing our people, man, because we have just as many people dying in prison as we are on the street. The same thing, the same drugs and ammunition, weapons that they have out here on the street, they have inside of prison. So I think that it's time, man, that we look at who is running out. First of all, who is running our system? Because Mississippi has the highest, how can I say it, recidivism rate of any state. They have the highest incarceration rate in the country. Mississippi, as small as it is, per capita, has more people incarcerated than any other place in the world. Listen to what I'm telling you, and get your Google, man. I know some of you will get it. Fact check it. Mississippi has the highest incarceration rate than anybody in the world, than any other state, any other prison in the world, per capita. And 86% of our prison here in the state of Mississippi is African American. Most of the people, we have more people on probation and parole than any other state in the United States. Right here in Mississippi, we got more people. Yet and still, they won't restore their right to vote. We have more crime where a convicted felon can't vote than any other state in the United States. So why are they so concerned about disenfranchising us in the state of Mississippi? Why? Because our vote matters. You know what I'm saying? So I fought for my right to vote while I was incarcerated, and I actually voted absentee ballot the last few years of my sentence. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we as citizens need to work on them restoring the rights of felons to vote. Only then are we going to be able to hold them and keep them in line because they know that we have the power. You know what I'm saying? You know, what's up, big brother? How you doing? Well, man, I love you guys, man. Shout out to Trail, man, for a beautiful season. And my by you, Coach Finley. You know what I mean? And my young man up in Cleveland from Mile Bayou, those coaches, man. And Simmons will get ready to go to the state championship. All those teams out the Delta, man. I just think, man, that we need to stay prayed up because there's so many things that are going to happen after January. Just watch what I tell you now. Watch when that good old boy system really kick in. I think it's going to be a lot, man, that you guys are going to be shocked, that you people are going to be shocked about. But, man, I pray for you. I pray for you. I pray that you have a blessed December coming up to the Christmas season. And I pray that your family is safe. You know what I mean? I pray that your mind is on restoring yourself and getting back to the place that God wants you to be. Not where you want to be, but in the place that God wants you to be. So, man, I just think that we got a lot to do, man. So I was just coming up, man, just touching up on a few things that was happening at MDOC. I can't really go into as much as I want to, just because I'm trying to wait to confirm some of the stuff that I've received in the last few months. And so, and I'm trying to work with somebody from DOJ where I can present it all to them in a package. But I still want to let you know that there's still some misgivings, some misdeed, and some misappropriation, not just of funds, but of resources, authority, utility, and some. So there's some things that are going on that I would consider, or that the law says is a violation. So and the law is cut and dry when it comes to us, it's cut and dry. Either it's wrong or it's right. There's no gray area between wrong and right. If it's wrong, it's wrong, and if it's right, it's right. You can't straddle the fence on wrong and right. Either the nepotism law says that hiring somebody that's your relative, your spouse, or anybody is wrong, or it's not. There's no gray area. There's no gray area. You punish Robin for his son wrecking a state vehicle and you taking it to the auto shop and getting it fixed. That's one of the reasons that he was let go. But yet and still, when your daughter wrecked the side by side and they took it up, nobody said nothing. When your daughter has unrestricted power to go out and check out a horse and ride it when, where, and how many times she wants to, that's state property. She's not a state employee. First of all, she's not a state employee that's been trained to ride that horse. So why does she have unrestricted access to do that on any day that she wants to? You know what I'm saying? And so, just a question. So when you puppets, when you play the video in slow mo and rewind it so he can hear what I said, Batman, you're not above the law. And it's simple as that. It's simple as that. But I love you guys, man. Man, Kevin, give me a holler. Alana, how you doing? Bon, appreciate you chiming in. Man, like the video, share the video, leave a comment so I can address it, so I can talk about it. And if things work out, man, I might try to see if I can put on a pot of tea by 10 o'clock. But that's if things work out. Just waiting on a little information, man. And don't be scared. Drop it in my chat box. Call me. Call me. I promise you I'll get back with you. Man, take care. Love you guys, man. Just gonna listen to me some blues, man, and watch me a little football. Take care, man. Be blessed, man. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. How you doing, Miss Home? Yeah. Take care. All right. Be blessed.